into today's ball game, the pitching matchup didn't look very good. I think we all had this feeling going into today that it was going to be an ugly one. Obviously, Corbin Burton's got the ball for the Milwaukee Brewers against Yusei Kikuchi. And that right there looks like a disaster waiting to happen for the Toronto Blue Jays, and it started out that way. Kikuchi struggled mightily in the minimal 2 innings that he was out there. But shout out to Trent Thornton and Maximo Castillo for keeping it tight as the Blue Jays crawled back, but lost 5-4 to the Milwaukee Brewers. And obviously the series is now evened up at 1 game apiece. And the Jays' record now 40-31 on the season. Let's break this thing down. In the first inning, Taylor hits an RBI single. Willy Adames comes in to score. But how did that run score? Well, it was a walk, right? Willy Adames got on base via the walk. And he comes around to score to give him the 1-0 lead. We go to the bottom half of the second inning. And Adames hits an RBI single. 1 run scores. Then McCutchen hits a 2-run bomb. And now you're down, 4-0. However, an abysmal error by Bo Bichette to start off that second inning. You got a ground ball to short, routine as anything. He fires in the dirt. Vladdy can't pick it. And runner goes to second base. And there's nobody out. You could have had 1 out. Kikuchi then gets the next 2 guys. You would have had a 3-up, 3-down inning, and it would still be only 1-0. But that error happens. He gets the next 2 guys, still a runner in scoring position. Then the single happens, then the 2-run shot happens. That's why Kikuchi only had 2 earned runs over those 2 innings. We go to the bottom half of the third inning, and Brasso hits a solo bomb. And this is off Kikuchi as well. I mean, it wasn't very pretty. You're down 5-0 in the third inning. And like I said, he turns it over to the bullpen. And like I said, Thornton and Castillo were phenomenal keeping the Jays in, or at least keeping it at 5-0, allowing the Jays to crawl back. Because in the top of the 5th inning, Matt Chapman hits a solo bomb to put the Jays on the board. It's then 5-1. Then Kevin Biggio gets an RBI ground out, does exactly what he needs to do, grounds it to first base. In comes Lourdes Gurriel Jr., making it 5-2, and the Jays within 3, but it's still getting a lot of ball to play. And we all know that pitching staff with Corbin Burton starting it off for the Milwaukee Brewers. Top of the 8th inning, off of Corbin Burns. Bo Bichette takes him deep to center field, a hanging breaking ball, and he crushes it, and it's gone. And it's 5-3. The Jays are back in this thing. 2-run ball game. We go to the top of the 9th inning, they bring out Josh Hader, and we're like, okay, that's pretty much it. But hold on. Gurriel hits an RBI single, Matt Chapman comes in to score. It's a 5-4 game. With a runner at first, and 2 out, and Moreno grounds out to first base to end the ballgame. And the Jays lose at 5-4. But like I said, Jays fans, we kind of drew this one up as a loss going into today. With the abysmal pitching matchup that we saw, we talked about yesterday how important yesterday's win was because of what today's pitching matchup looked like. And they did what they needed to do yesterday. It's unfortunate they lost today, but it was 5-4 and basically a scheduled loss. So you got to grab positives out of a game like this. I understand, a team that's trying to compete and contend, all these, moral victories don't count. I get that. But in a game like this, you kind of have to. And the few moral victories that I do have is Alejandro Kirk. Great to see him back in the lineup. Still no George Springer, though, as he's still dealing with that I think it's an elbow issue. But it seems to be getting better. Kirk went 0 for 2 today, but he walked twice. Still found a way to get on base 2 times. And Matt Chapman, have a day. The man went 3 for 4 in the game, scored 2 runs, had an RBI, obviously in the home run that he hit. So he had a great day in the offense. Oh my God, great day in the office for Matt Chapman, offensively and of course defensively, because you know what you're going to get from him on any given play. And Lourdes Gurriel Jr. continues to swing the bat red hot. He was 2 for 3 with a run scored and an RBI today, but the team overall only had 7 hits in the game. Those 2 guys combined for 5 of them, and the team had 7 hits, struck out 12 times, so they weren't really all that effective, right? Pitching-wise, look, Kikuchi, we talk about it, right? His stuff is nasty. How many times am I going to come on here and say his stuff, throwing left side at 97 or 96, with the wipeout slider, the nice changeup that he's got, it's great. The problem is he can't establish the fastball, and he's relying on the slider, relying on the changeup. And then he's trying to dot the fastball. I was watching really, really hard early in this game. He was throwing so many sliders, so many changeups, and they were strikes. But the moment he tried the fastball, it's like up and out of the zone. Moreno across his body trying to make a crazy stop, going all the way to the backstop. He hit a guy, somehow didn't hit McCutchen and hit his bat, but he threw it behind him. It's like all over the place. I don't know if that's confidence or if that's just he does not know how to throw a strike with his fastball. I don't know what it is, but Kikuchi goes 2 innings, allows 6 hits, 5 runs. Obviously, I said only 2 were earned. And, struck out 5. Again, over 2 innings, you strike out 5 dudes. What's crazy about that is you got 6 outs. 5 via the strikeout. Your stuff is nasty. And he only walked the 1 guy, but a lot of hard contact because he was throwing so much off speed. And he had to because he doesn't have the confidence in his fastball right now. And that's a disaster waiting to happen. You always hear pitching coaches and pitchers talk about it. What's the most important thing in pitching? Well, fastball command is so crucial. If you're dotting your fastball, that means so many other things for your off-speed pitches. That's why Jose Berrios has struggled a lot this year. The fastball command hasn't been there for him, which leads to his other pitches not biting as much, right? And for Kikuchi, I know I say it every video, but if he can find a way to locate that fastball consistently, he'll be money. Remember that start against his former team, Seattle, in May? Where he went like 6 innings and no-run ball because he was dotting everything? It was beautiful to watch. But this is a totally different Yusei Kikuchi. And it's not very fun to watch. However, shout out to Trent Thornton when he came out after that 5-inning debacle, or that 5-run debacle. And he went 2 innings, allowed 1 hit, 1 walk, and struck out 3 guys over the 2 innings. So he did a great job kind of, again, settling everything down and not allowing runs over a couple innings. And as the Jays were crawling back, Maximo Castillo, we talked about him in his big league debut, giving up back-to-back home runs to guys you probably don't want to give up back-to-back home runs against. But today, albeit the offense for Milwaukee ain't the greatest, I mean, it looked good against Kikuchi, but that's not saying much. Castillo went 4 innings, allowed 1 hit, walked a couple, struck out 7 guys. You know what's crazy? When you have a guy who can touch 95, 96 with his fastball and has some pretty nasty off-speed stuff, pretty helpful out of the bullpen. He did a phenomenal job today, allowing the Jays to crawl back into this ball game. And heck, he was doing so well that in a 5-3 game in the bottom half of the 8th, they're like, screw it, we're not going to anybody else. Let's run this guy back out there for another inning. And they do, and he does not disappoint. And it allowed the Jays to score that 9th inning 1 run to make it a 5-4 game. Unfortunately, they couldn't complete the comeback. But a really nice job from Maximo Castillo today, and I'm hoping he can build on this moving forward. Now, the finale of this 3-game set against the Milwaukee Brewers goes tomorrow afternoon. It's, I believe, the 1:37 first pitch. Or no, it couldn't be. I believe it's a 2:10 because it's in Milwaukee. Jose Berrios gets the ball for the Blue Jays. And it's a road start for Jose, and we all know the splits. So we'll see what happens there. Against Chichi Gonzalez. The last time the Jays saw Chichi Gonzalez, he was in a Minnesota Twins uniform, and they teed off on him early. However, that was a game against Minnesota where they, went back, and it was Kikuchi on the hill for that game, because I was at that game. And they were slugging him early. They were slugging Kikuchi, as a lot of teams have. And Chichi Gonzalez was getting lit up, but they didn't allow him to go past like the 3rd inning. And obviously the Twins bullpen came out and shut the door the rest of the way. So you should be able to get your offense against Chichi Gonzalez, at least early in games, at least the first few innings of this ball game. But what is Jose Berrios going to give you? And that's the question mark going into tomorrow. Are you going to get quality Jose Berrios, or are you going to get the Jose that you saw in the last outing where he really, really struggled? All right? So you know what, guys? That is going to do it for this one. If you enjoyed the video and enjoyed the little comeback and enjoyed seeing Maximo Castillo out there, smack the like button. But if you didn't enjoy the loss overall, smack the like button as well. Hit the subscribe button if you guys not already. Comment down below. Thoughts on the video, thoughts on the game. Would you like, would you not like from today's game for the Toronto Blue Jays? The Twitter link is down below, so follow, send me a DM, do that great stuff. The Instagram link is also down below, so follow up there if you guys have not done so already. And I will talk to you guys, Jays Edition, of course, tomorrow afternoon after the Blue Jays take on the Milwaukee Brewers in the finale of that set. Jose Berrios, Chichi Gonzalez is a pitching matchup there in the finale in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, as the Blue Jays look to win the set and come back home to take on the Red Sox in a big set at home. Because I think you have the Red Sox and the Rays, and we all know how neck and neck all 3 teams are in the divisions, or in the wild card seeds, I guess, at this point. So, Jays fans, you know what? Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and not the game today overall. We'll talk to you guys then.